Dolphins fans, welcome into Dolphins Today. I am Will Scott. I'm answering your questions during our live show with today's Dolphins mailbag. And if you want to be a part of a future Dolphins mailbag, then subscribe today. During the offseason, we're probably going to get you guys 2 mailbags every single week. And to partake in those mailbags, you got to be featured. You got to be in the comments during our live show. So go down, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Super chat, skip the line. As guys are super chatted, we appreciate you. We'll do the Dolphins fight song here for you in a second. What are your thoughts on Dawand Jones? The tackle Dawand Jones. I was actually looking at him during our mock draft earlier. Interesting prospect. I decided to take Darnell Washington with that pick instead. But Jones is certainly a guy to watch there on day 2 as a possible target for the Dolphins. Look, you saw how upset I was last year when the Dolphins did not take an offensive lineman at all. They need to draft at least 2 offensive linemen with their 5 picks. Absolutely have to have more depth there. Chris C., we appreciate you. What personnel move do you think Vic does to the D? He apparently is looking at Tom Donatell to be the secondary coach. I believe Sam Madison would stay on as the cornerbacks coach, but that hire could be made official in the coming days because of Fangio's hire being made official today. So that's something to look out for, Fangio's staff being finalized. The Elite. Should Miami hire Kliff Kingsbury as the OC? I thought Kliff was in Thailand until he was up for the Houston Texans offensive coordinator job. They went with a San Francisco candidate instead. No, I like Mike McDaniels, the play caller, and Frank Smith's done a good job as the OC. But I like Kliff. I honestly like Kliff a lot. He'll probably get an OC job next year. Brian Gonzalez, who would you replace Gesicki with at tight end? Well, in my mock draft, if you missed it, Brian, I had us taking Darnell Washington out of Georgia. It would be cheaper to draft Gesicki's replacement than sign Gesicki's replacement in free agency. But Dalton Schultz is a name to watch in free agency. Also, Foster Moreau out of Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Raiders backup tight end. Something to watch there. XX Dark Reaper, what's up? Should we sign Austin Hooper from the Titans? Yeah, I like him. I don't like him as much as Moreau. I don't like him as much as Dalton Schultz. But he'd be somewhat cheap. And he's a solid Gesicki replacement. I think there's better options out there, but still a name to watch there from Tennessee. A good question. Adrian Hernandez, what's up? Darnell Washington played with me here in Vegas. Very nice. He's a beast. We should get him. I would love to have someone from Vegas represent us. Great everything. It's just his attitude. I worry about it. Interesting. If you know Darnell, if you could set up an interview, that'd be great, Adrian, ahead of the draft. So my DMs are open on Twitter at WillScott44. I'm curious to hear what else you have to think about Darnell. I really like him as a prospect. Again, I think he went overlooked because he was behind Brock Bowers. I think the numbers would have been a lot better. He'd probably be a first-round pick if not for Brock Bowers. So Darnell is a first-round talent that might fall to the second or third round. David Thompson says, I'm all in on Baker Mayfield. Should we sign him? I'm assuming you mean as the backup? Yeah, I think he'd be a solid fit here in Miami. He's the backup. He's put up pretty good numbers throughout his career. I thought Cleveland did a little bit dirty letting him go. Over 100 touchdowns, 64 interceptions, over 16,000 yards, a 61.4% completion percentage. I tend to think that Baker is going to get a starting job next year. However, if he does not get a starting job, and apparently Tampa Bay has interest, New Orleans has interest, the entire NFC South basically has interest in Baker Mayfield. But if he doesn't get a starting quarterback job, then yes, he would be my top target to sign as the backup. He'd be great. The guy's just a winner, man. I like Baker. Do you want to sign Baker Mayfield? S for sign, P for pass, down in the comment section. Go down, let me know. Do you want to sign Baker Mayfield here to be the backup quarterback for Tua Tagovailoa? Shiesty Miami 305. Now that Fangio to Miami is confirmed, who do you think he is bringing to join him? Yeah, again, Tom Donatell is a name to watch there. it'd be a dream. I mean, to somehow have Sean Desai on the staff as well. He interviewed for the job. He's kind of the runner-up for this job. But I don't think Sean Desai would leave Seattle unless it is for a head coaching job. But I think Tom Donatel is a name to watch here, is someone who's going to be on a Fangio staff. We'll keep an eye on that. Mr. Paul, how do you feel about trying to get Gardner Minshew for QB2? I love that. I mentioned Baker earlier. I think Gardner Minshew is another good option. Like I said, with Baker, Gardner Minshew is a winner as well. Did a great job in Philly. He's the backup there. I really like Minshew. And can you imagine Minshew mania in Miami? Would be interesting. Joshy, what are the chances Tua stays healthy and leads us to the Pro Bowl? Maybe the Super Bowl is what you mean? And Waddle will have a breakout year again. So I'll say this. I think Tua will be a Pro Bowler next year. He would have been one this year if he hadn't gotten hurt. He would have been an alternate. I think the chances of Tua staying healthy are decent if you can get the offensive line figured out. And if Tua takes that seriously this offseason in terms of learning how to fall, he says he's taking judo classes. I think Waddle will have a breakout year again. I mean, Waddle is a wide receiver 1 in any offense. He's a wide receiver 2 in Miami because you have Tyreek Hill. Chad Jones, McGlonchey's not good at run blocking, but good at pass blocking. Who should we get? I think pass blocking should be a priority because of Tua's health. I really like McGlonchey, Chad. The only thing that concerns me with McGlonchey is the team willing to pay him what he's worth? If I'm his agent, I'm trying to get him $17 million per year, which Miami's very much over the salary cap right now. Anthony Mazzano, what's up? Hashtag MOB. Do you think Jack Campbell might surprise everyone in terms of his athletic ability and coverage skills at the combine like Leo Chenal did? Yeah, Leo Chenal was a name that I was saying the Dolphins should look at. Instead, they went with Tyndall, who I like the pick of Tyndall. He just didn't play that much this year. I think he's, the Wisconsin linebacker? Jack Campbell, football. Yeah, I think so. Oh, he's the Iowa linebacker. I know he's a Big Ten linebacker. Yeah, I've heard good things. I haven't looked that much into him. I will say, though, drafting a linebacker in the second or third round is very, very possible. So Jack Campbell, the Iowa linebacker, a name to watch there. Go down, subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to have you post. We're going to continue to keep you covered on Dolphins draft content. Also more mailbags on our live shows. John Ruiz says, this week there are still more rumors on Lamar Jackson. I haven't seen anything, John. If you see anything on that, send me it. I saw something on Twitter. I think it was just a fan making it up about the possibility of trading Tua for Lamar, but I don't think that's realistic at all. I think Lamar missed more time this year than Tua did as well. Andrew Rossi, it's Andrew Rossi. We appreciate Andrew. Given the state of affairs with draft picks and money, do you see any significant movement in the offseason? Yeah. Look, I don't really think the salary cap is that real. Like, you can have Tyreek Hill restructure his contract tomorrow, and that really frees you up. Chris Greer will figure it out. He's a home run hitter. He's not going to have a quiet offseason. He never has had that. So I think they'll make some key moves. I think it might be, like last year was the Tyreek Hill trade. This year it might be like Mike McGlinchey's kind of the big splash for Miami. We'll see. Hi says, if either of all Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, or Joe Mixon gets cut by cap casualty, should we sign any of them? Yeah, Joe Mixon, he wasn't charged, Jack, right? He wasn't charged. The charges were dropped. Still, there's some character concerns with Mixon there. Dalvin Cook is a name that has been linked to Miami. He's from there. I think it might make some sense to bring him to Miami. Aaron Jones, I'd really like. If the Packers just blow it up, trade Rodgers, trade Jones, I would love Aaron Jones. Carter Reimer says, should the Dolphins sign Braxton Berrios as the kick returner? Is he a free agent? I think he might be. I like Berrios. I mean, I didn't like going up against him when he was playing with the Jets. So, yeah, I mean, Berrios would be a good maybe wide receiver 4 or 5 and a good kick return. I wouldn't hate that at all. Wendell and Witt, what's up? Should the Dolphins trade X and see if we could get into the first round to grab the top running back? I don't think X's contract is tradable, Wendell. I mean, and even if it is, I don't think you're getting a first-round pick for it. I unfortunately don't think the Dolphins have the assets to trade into the first round, but we'll see. Jalen Thomas, thoughts on drafting Hendon Hooker? Joe Shad brought up. So, yeah, Joe Shad, formerly of ESPN, now with the Miami, he's with the Palm Beach Post, I think. He brought up the possibility of drafting Hendon Hooker, who quite frankly should have been a Heisman finalist this year at Tennessee, probably would have been if it was not for the torn ACL. So he probably would have been a first-round pick. The torn ACL might have him fall to the second or third round, where Miami's going to be selecting. 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's a great talent. But I don't know if I would spend the Dolphins' first pick on a quarterback. Do you want to draft Hendon Hooker? Y for yes, in for no, down in the comment section. Joe Shad was talking about, maybe grooming Hookers to his backup, kind of having him be a good backup in this Dolphins offense. And if Tua doesn't work out, then maybe Hooker could be the guy. And I think Hooker's upside is really, really good. He's older than Tua, though, by the way, which is interesting. Batman says, try to get Montgomery from the Bears. Thoughts? I haven't thought much about that. I think there's better options when you're talking about specific running backs. There's a lot more running backs I'm looking at than Montgomery. I would say that, Batman. But I'll say this. There's going to be a lot of running backs that we see linked to Miami here in the coming weeks. We'll see what goes down there. John Ruiz said, should the Dolphins sign Levante David? Yeah, I like Levante a lot. Tampa Bay. And Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo. I think Tremaine Edmonds is a name that I'm looking out for. I think Levante is also possible. Both of those guys were top 10 on my free agent big board video. If you have not watched that yet, go and look it up. Just look up Dolphins Today, free agent big board. But yeah, those are two of my top targets, John. Joshua Lucky says, any chance we play the Chiefs to open up the 2023 season? I'll say this. The Bengals are scheduled to play the Chiefs next year. I expect that to be the opening game. But if it's not the Bengals, then yeah, I think it's very possible. Dolphins at Chiefs next year to open up the season. That'd be a lot of fun. I think I'd rather open with somebody else. I don't really want to face Kansas City when they're raising the Super Bowl banner. But it's certainly a possibility. The Dolphins have to go to Kansas City and to Philadelphia next year. Going to be a tough road schedule. So we'll see. That schedule will be released in May. We'll obviously get you a schedule release video when that happens.